Ever been betrayed so badly that you are emotionally devastated? Yeah. And that's happened to me too. I, our family, my dad wasn't much for us crying, you know, and so I think I can count 5, maybe 6 times I I cried in my life. So that's like once every 10 years. But I think the most recent that I remember was a betrayal, and I cried so hard I couldn't stand up. Anyway, so this is Psalm 55, and this is talking about betrayal. By the way, good morning. This is Aunt Beth. Welcome to my lamppost. You know, and the word says that Jesus went through everything that we did. And here in Psalm 55, this is a prophetic thing about his betrayal by Judas. You know, I've always thought Judas was trying to force the agenda. You know, he figured Jesus had gotten out of every box that they'd put in front of him as far as the Pharisees. He would get out of this one as well, you know. But he was trying to force a showdown. Didn't go exactly the way Judas planned, but it did go the way the Lord planned. But that does not mean he was not impacted by that. So in Psalm 55, and I happen to believe that Jesus was quoting the Psalms, you know, throughout his time on the cross, but he was talking about if it's not an enemy, this is verse 12, for it was not an enemy who reproaches me, then I could bear it, nor one who hated me, then I could hide, but it was you, a man my equal, my companion and acquaintance. We took sweet counsel together and walked in the house of God in the throne. I don't know if you've just absolutely had everything shredded from you and you have nothing left. But in verse 16 and verse 18 really give me some insight as far as how Jesus walked through it, but how we walk through it. In verse 16, as for me, I will call upon God, and the Lord shall save me. And then verse 18, he has redeemed my soul in peace from the battle that was against me, for there were many against me. And we've talked off and on, and one of you all was kind enough to encourage me this past week with the fact that in, you know, his presence and in his peace is our provision and protection. And here it is, right there in the Word. But I think there's a place of getting past it where you forgive and move on. But that doesn't mean you're stupid about boundaries. You have the responsibility to protect yourself, not walk in hate, but protect yourself. And I think verse 19, the second half is interesting. And oh, by the way, I usually type the whole psalm out where you click on the word more, but it says, because they do not change, therefore they do not fear God. So change is the tell. So on Easter Sunday, at least 2026, You know, we're not the only ones with the t-shirt. Jesus has that t-shirt too, which is very comforting because he can understand the heart pain that you go through. Man, betrayal is such a weapon of the spirit, isn't it? But God is awesome. And for those of you that are in the midst of dealing with deep heart pain and betrayal, wow, I pray for you today. You know, and the word is purified 7 times, they'll take you through the fire. You know, happen to believe Jesus was quoting a lot of the Psalms and the word on the cross. But if it took him through hell, it'll take you through hell too. So this is not an easy path. I was talking to my pastor this past week as far as, you know, we so often focus on the pruning, and however painful that is, that we forget to focus on the fruit as a result of that pruning. You know, good things will come. God will work everything out for your good, my good, if we just trust him. But on this Easter Sunday, obviously recording this in advance, but on this Easter Sunday, I just hope you're extremely aware of the peace and presence of the Lord. So have a fabulous day. All God's best.